In our long and winding up and down road together, I've made a lot of League of Legends content. 107 videos to be exact. And I'm pretty sure that at this point in my life, you can make one of two assumptions. Number one, I absolutely still love this game enough to play it daily and make content on it when I can. Or number two, I have developed the gaming version of Stockholm Syndrome and wish to be freed from my mortal coil. I'll let you decide which one it is. But in all of our videos analyzing champions, theory crafting weird builds, going through the toxic wasteland that we call solo queue, or even talking about lore to explain how I could beat everyone in this game up, there has always been an elephant in the room. A champion that I refuse to make a whole video on because their sheer presence boils my blood. Sure, I dislike some champions as a meme, and then other champions because I myself have had a lot of bad experiences with them in general, but I can honestly say that in the entire League of Legends roster, in the whole 155 characters that exist in this game, there is only one champion that I genuinely wish never existed. A champion that is the least healthy for the state of the game, that is the hardest to balance, with the lowest skill ceiling, that teaches absolutely nothing to new players, and is literally and figuratively the concept of carry me personified. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about Yuumi, which we'll get into soon, but first, we have a message from this week's sponsor. Hey, I see you staring at this video looking absolutely fantastic, but when I look at you, I wonder. I mean, sure, you're accomplished, but have you taken down a demon lord yet? What about smashed an ice golem? Or even ascended the Doom Tower? Have you even fought against millions of players in a PvP arena? Well, if you haven't yet, then I suggest you check out this week's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Explore millions of champion combinations and become a genius tactician as you take on bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 500 champions each with unique abilities, you can build your team, develop your champions, and raid your way. You can use the links in my description to download Raid for yourself on mobile or PC and... Is that a knock on my door? Oh my god, Saito from Raid Shadow Legends. What are you doing here, bud? You look sad. Oh man, is it because the great people watching this video haven't heard about the brand spanking new second version of the Doom Tower? Which comes with all new rewards, new gear for your champions, and even brand new bosses like the Celestial Griffin and the Eternal Dragon? Well, don't worry about it, Saito. I'll be sure to tell him. You suit up for battle, and I'll talk to you soon. Little extra, but okay. So what are you waiting for? If you want a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description below or scan my QR code, and you'll get free Epic Champion Jotun, which is great for the Doom Tower, 100k silver, 50 gems, and 3 Ancient Champion shards so that you can get summoning right away. All the treasure will be waiting for you here, and they'll be available for the next 30 days. One more huge shout out to Raid for sponsoring the videos again and again. You guys are awesome. Be sure to download Raid with the link in my description below or scan the QR code that's on the screen. And that's it. I love you. Let's get back into the content. Before I get into this long anti-Yuumi propaganda, I just wanted to say that I don't have a bone to pick with Yuumi players. I think they're awesome. They have hearts of gold because they thrive off of making someone else the superstar while they get to catch up on their favorite anime, and I respect that. So if you are a Yuumi main, I'm sorry. But I'm about to tear that pussy up like I got a sponsorship from Pornhub. It's kind of a graphic joke, huh? Yuumi is by far the worst champion designed in all of League of Legends' 10-year career. And yes, that includes with them pushing out monsters like this, or monsters like this, or monsters like these. It's been a lot of rough times. In fact, even calling Yuumi a champion kind of feels like an insult to the other champions in the game, because she is essentially just a super buff with the quirkiness of a RAR XD scene kid from 2009. Yuumi's design is annoying, her gameplay is non-existent, her ability to be useful is completely based on her team, she doesn't even suffice as a good champion to learn because none of the skills you learn playing Yuumi are applicable anywhere else. And the worst part of all is that all she needs is is a hyper carry to latch onto, and she fucking wins. If you can't tell by now, I have absolutely nothing positive to say about this champion. At first, I thought I was being hypercritical. Maybe Scooch has lost his marbles and his baby rage is misplaced because he's had too many bad experiences with this champion. But as it turns out, I am completely backed in this sentiment. In fact, on my Twitter @ScoochLol, I asked people to tell me their thoughts on Yuumi, and so many people agreed with this hatred that we got her to trending, which is somehow a bigger L than it is a W. But why? Why do so many people, including myself, despise this character? Why do more people hate Yuumi than people hate Shaco, who is literally designed to piss you off? Or even Teemo, who you know is Teemo? Well, I have answers, a lot of them, and it's all going to start with the most simple one of all, her design. And I'm not talking about the fact that she looks and sounds like a character from a Disney show that was canceled in its first season. In fact, I'm not even going to touch on her as a character in general because, yeah, she's annoying, but there has been some worse designs. Yumi's entire slew of abilities revolves around one thing: being a parasite, which is an accurate description, by the way. Look it up. I'll explain. But before we keep going, did you know that the majority of the people watching this video aren't subscribed? It really helps the channel a lot when you do, and if you are subscribed, leave a like or leave a comment or do anything to help out the algorithm. We do our best to release high quality content on here as frequent as possible, and we're starting to find our footing, so I think that you would have a blast ringing the bell and subbing and coming back and watching all the other fun stuff we have planned. Whether you subscribe or not, I love you. Let's keep going. For the sake of clarity, we're going to start with her W first. Her W attaches her to an ally champion, which not only makes her untargetable, but also gives bonus stats to the person she's attached to for free. And not just a little bit of bonus stats either, a fucking ton. And since this ability doesn't have a time limit on it, Yuumi is basically going to spend 99% of the game not moving for herself, or thinking for herself. In fact, in the solid one Yuumi game that I have under my belt, I realized that Yuumi shouldn't be writing a book at all. She should be writing a goddamn iPad so that she has something to watch other than her ADC 2v1ing in lane. I know this is a great skin idea, Riot. Feel free to send me $5 in the mail. You know where to find me. Now let's get into her actual abilities, if you can even call them that. Passively, every few seconds she can gain mana back and generate a shield if she lands an auto attack, which means she has to dismount if even for a split second. This puts her in a little bit of danger and is quite literally the only skill in her kit that requires any thought whatsoever. That's right, dismounting to auto attack a champion is the only ability in Yuumi's kit that has a semblance of danger. The rest of her kit can only be described as laissez-faire, which, if you don't know French, translates to cat shit garbage. Her Q is a projectile fired in a target direction that deals damage to the first enemy it hits. Notice how I didn't say skill shot, because she can fucking control it, making it nearly impossible to miss. Thankfully, this champion only requires one hand to play, so if you miss this ability, you can use your other hand to cock back as hard as possible and then slap yourself. I'm not saying you'll miss, but if you do, you know. Yuumi's E is a massive, big-ass, how is this even legal heal that grants movement speed and attack speed. And you want to know the best part? You don't even have to aim it. Just press the button. Congratulations! You just did such a good job. You won us the game by pressing E. I'm proud of you, my little kitten. Why did I write that? Pairing this with literally any other support item in the game not only empowers it, but can also grant even more attack speed or ability power with the current items. Which means that they should rename this ability from Zoomies to God Mode. Her ult is to choose a target direction and fire 7 waves that each deal magic damage over the course of 3.5 seconds. If an enemy gets hit by 3 of these waves, they get rooted for 1.75 seconds. Even though this can only happen once per target, this ability is absolutely gigantic and actually pretty hard to miss, which is a reoccurring theme. Not just because it's so big it demands its own zip code, but also because oftentimes you're attached to a hypermobile carry that can just aim it for you. So 9 times out of 10, it will land its mark. So now that we understand what every single ability on this champion does, we can start getting analytical. The point where I break down the exact reason why this champion is the least healthy champion Riot has ever released, and also the most hated champion I have ever seen in League of Legends' decade-long history. Yuumi is a cheat code, which gives champions a ton of extra AD or AP, 2 extra summoner spells because Yuumi never takes flash, a cleanse when she builds Mikhails, an absolutely insane amount of attack speed and movement speed, an undodgeable root that deals decent damage, and a cute little Nyan-shaped tumor. Think of any character in the entire game and realize that they are infinitely better with a Yuumi attached. Imagine a Shaco coming at you with an exhaust, an extra ignite, and a ton of attack speed. Imagine a Tristana jumping in from a mile away to root you. And all of this is talking about right now in this current day and age. Because on release, it was much, much worse. To the point where in the actual pro scene of League of Legends, the creme of the crop, bot lanes were going Yuumi Garen, and Yuumi would outdamage everyone in teamfights frequently while making Garen impossible to kill. And just remember that Yuumi is untargetable when almost all of this is happening, making her a no-risk, high-reward champion. It's like playing blackjack with see-through cards. In short, if you want to make a ton of money while fucking a bunch of people in the process, make like a high-class sex worker and keep that pussy booked. Because Yuumi's a cat on a book. You get the joke. I hope you guys enjoyed this Yuumi rant. I don't know if it's going to be an episode of Can We Talk About This yet, because I don't want to switch the style up, and I didn't have enough time to send it to the editor by the time that I needed this video to be out. So I didn't want to switch the style of Can We Talk About This up at all. But if I did end up calling this a Can We Talk About This, because it's basically a fucking Can We Talk About This, then just know the style is going to go back to the other style on next week's episode. It's just because I got sick last week, my schedule's been all out of whack, which is why I haven't been streaming, because I've been catching up with all the work that I missed out on a week of being sick. Anyways, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Click the videos that are on the screen, and that's all I gotta say. Goodbye.